Welcome to Listen by Gene Ginsberg. This audio experience and podcast is all about social media, digital marketing, entrepreneurship, and interviews with top entrepreneurs in the digital and social space. I'm your host, Gene Ginsberg, digital marketing expert, #1 best-selling author, and award-winning entrepreneur. I will be sharing with you strategies, tips, and tactics on how to grow your business and your social media following. Thanks for listening. Hey everyone, Gene Ginsberg here. Welcome to another episode of Listen by Gene Ginsberg. And today, very excited because we have a very special guest. Somebody I've been looking forward to interviewing for a long time, Bob Regnerus. So tell us, how is everything going today?
Today is a great day. It's late in the day when we're recording this. I had a full day. My wife and I had been traveling. We got away to Florida for a couple weeks, so we got some sun, got some golf in, did a little work while we're down there. So you know how the first week back is after vacation. So it's been very busy, but a very, very productive day. I always try to be productive each day.
I gotta say, you're pretty ballsy going, taking a little time off right at the end of the quarter. Usually I'm like, hustle it, try to get those deals in before the end of the quarter.
Yeah, well, you do a little work while you're on vacation, and then you can take an extra round of golf because you did your job. So that's the life I chose as entrepreneur. So we like to kind of keep banker's hours, but none of us do. We end up working all the time, but it also gives us time like, hey, we're going to escape for 5 hours and play some golf. We could do that. That's what I love about being my own boss. Don't I?
That is true.
Don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That is true. Sometimes you work a lot, but sometimes you're like, I'm just going to take a half a day and do something for myself, reflect. Definitely something I like to put on my calendar. Actually now, because it's the beginning of the new quarter, so it's like, how do we reflect on the previous quarter, how things were, what can we do this quarter to get the numbers up? So cool. Well, first question I always ask my guests are, tell us about your background to give our audiences some context.
Yeah, I guess entrepreneurship came a little bit later for me. I'm a programmer by trade. I went to college in Chicago. I loved computers. I loved programming. So I worked for a couple large corporations for 6 years, and I really didn't like working for somebody else. I mean, I enjoyed the work, but I'm like, I didn't like the commute, and I just felt like there was more inside of me. So I started a side hustle, and I became a consultant, and I started getting paid by the hour, and I thought that was the greatest thing ever. Like if I work an hour and I got paid, it was like fantastic. Not like minimum wage when I did in high school. Like I was getting paid handsomely per hour. But then this is back in 1998. Of course, I'm aging myself, but I started getting involved in internet programming, and I built my first e-commerce website for a client. It was 1998. And one of the first things after we celebrated, he said, well, great. How do I get traffic to my website? And I said, oh, I know how to do that. And I had no idea how to do that. So that's how I discovered internet marketing, direct marketing principles, Dan Kennedy, Perry Marshall, and I learned, and I got him a ton of traffic. In fact, that client is still a client. So we're going on almost 24 years being a client. That same website I built, it's gone through a lot of overhauls over the years, but it's still essentially the same e-commerce website I built. So I really moved from being a programmer to being a direct marketing person. And I've gravitated in my career towards paid marketing. So Google AdWords, and then obviously most currently Facebook, having written the Ultimate Guide to Facebook Advertising this past fall. So that's where I've spent most of my career is paid advertising.
Yeah, I remember back in the day when we would code websites by hand in HTML before WordPress was really a thing. I remember that. That was like 15, 20 years ago. I remember taking a class in college for HTML. So that was a long time ago.
Yeah. No, I mean, I still love that, but I'm too busy to get involved with the technical stuff these days.
Yeah,
There's much more talented people than me that
absolutely.
we get to do stuff. So it's really important to focus when you're running a company or two to kind of do the higher level things these days versus the nitty gritty.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's definitely a big piece of being an entrepreneur and transitioning out of the day-to-day operation. So tell us about your current company.
Yeah, I co-founded a company called Feed Stories. We are a video marketing company. Our whole premise is video that sells. It's interesting how the company started. Like I said, I've been a Facebook programmer. I've been really heavy into that since 2013, a Facebook advertiser rather. And I went to Austin, Texas, where Facebook's ad headquarters was. This is back in 2016. I was in a closed door meeting with about 100 other advertisers, and for 2 days, all they kept talking about was video. And, Instagram, the president of Instagram gets up and talks like, we're a video company. The vice president of Facebook gets up and says, we're a video company. I said, okay, I know where they're going. They're a video company. I walked out of the meeting. I walked out to the sidewalk outside the building. I called my current business partner, Brandon, who is a friend of mine. I said, hey, you know where I'm at right now. Here's what they're saying. We have to focus in on video. So that's how the company was founded. And we really specialize in helping capture people's stories. We use traditional videography, but we do remote videography now. So we got really, really busy last April when it was very impractical to do in-person video shoots, and we had a remote solution already built. So we hit the ground running in April, and we haven't really looked back since.
So tell us about that. How are things changed since COVID started a year ago?
Yeah, well, like I said, for a lot of companies, things went completely dark, and for us, things just went on fire. One of the things that I really found which was valuable was I spent a lot of time networking and meeting people, not like networking like it's, oh, we're shaking hands, but like genuinely getting to know people. And um, when I do sales calls with people, I'm not necessarily trying to sell them. I'm just trying to help them discover a solution. And one of that really paid off as COVID hit. There was 2, 3 weeks where nobody did anything, but back in April of last year, people started like, okay, like we still got to get back to work here, and oh yeah, Bob and Brandon do remote videos, and I need to like step up my game there. So like I said, we had our 3 best months as a company like during the darkest period for most companies. So that really kind of, hey, sometimes it's good to be in front of things. Sometimes it's good to have things prepared. We're really proud of the way we positioned ourselves and had a system ready to go. We were able to crank videos out, sales videos, YouTube videos, and all the things for our clients in really healthy fashion. So really proud of kind of the initiative we took and some of the risks that we took, which seemed, a little scary at the time, investing in technology and things like that, but it really paid off for us.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, this COVID thing has like definitely some businesses, of course, not so good, but some businesses just like blew up, and sounds like you're one of them.
Yeah, and we consider ourselves really fortunate. I was also fortunate to have a lot of our current clients who were really unfazed by COVID as well. Certainly, we had a few that just, in the hospitality industry, which was decimated, but, we had a nice, diverse client base. And by the way, I learned that back in 2008, 2009, when I had too many clients in one industry, when that market crashed.
Right.
I nearly went bankrupt because I was too highly invested in one type of client,
Right.
which was real estate clients, and that was quite painful. So I learned that lesson. So
Yes.
we were ready kind of the next time something major hit. So
Yeah.
never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yeah, diversification for sure.
Yeah.
And can you speak a little bit about the remote videography, or is that a secret sauce?
No, I mean we work with a technology partner called OpenReel. They just got their next round of funding. It was a small startup when they started, but essentially what we're able to do is replicate the experience of being in front of a camera, where there's a director or interviewer kind of working with you. So our secret sauce is really that we're really good at asking questions and getting people to talk on camera, just like we're doing right here. And this actually looks like a FaceTime session. So the director appears in the person's phone or iPad, and that they don't become part of the video broadcast. So the video is put on the is done directly on the device. So it's, you know, it's not dependent on the internet stream. So it's full 1080 with great sound, and then it gets uploaded to the cloud after the session, and our editor handles it as if they were handed, you know, the SD card by the videographer. So we're able to take what we do really well, which is, you know, get a client comfortable in front of camera, answer, you know, ask them really good questions and get really good content, and build sales videos, marketing videos, stories about their business, and help, you know, create a really good personal experience for their prospects and their customers.
Awesome. Yeah. So it's just a technology that you're using
Yeah.
to basically interview people and get them comfortable on camera.
Yeah, we love conversational video. You know, there's companies that make, you know, animated videos and highly produced videos and things like that. Those are all great, and they're all should be part of a mix. We just happen to be really good at doing like personalization. We love
Right.
doing face to camera or interview style video. It gets really good content out of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And then are there certain types of businesses that you work with, or pretty much across the board?
You know, we have found that we work best with small to medium businesses. Typically, it's like 15 employees or less. We love working with the owner operators, you know, the do it all type of entrepreneur. Typically, they're a driving personality. You know, the revenue range we found is from startup to about 15 million is kind of the size of companies that we work with. And certainly we can work with others. It's just that we kind of have this common, I don't know, energy with those types of entrepreneurs, and those are the ones that we kind of work best with and help them build really great stories.
Awesome. Very cool. So
Yeah.
tell us about your books. I see a bunch of them in the back.
Yeah, one of the best things I've ever done in my career was listen to a good friend of mine, Victor Chang. He's an amazing executive coach. At the time, he wasn't as famous as he is now, but he really encouraged me. I was doing a lot of great work with my agency, helping people sell big ticket products and services on the internet. And he said, "You really need to do a book." And I did a self-published book. He helped me write it, and I helped grow an agency over 7 figures. I was so proud of that. If you've ever got a book done, it's one of the most difficult and rewarding things possible. And yeah, my most recent book was published this fall. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Facebook Advertising. That was done through Entrepreneur Press, so a traditional publisher. And I was the primary co-author on it. I got to work with Perry Marshall, who's a friend of mine, but I worked on, you know, 90% of the content. And yeah, it's really the ultimate guide. From the time I agreed to do it to the time we published, it was 19 months. So
Uh-huh.
a lot of work went into that, a lot of experience, and a lot of time making it really the ultimate guide, and really proud of that. So it's available everywhere: Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all the places you would expect to find it.
This podcast is brought to you by the Digital Marketing Method monthly group coaching program, your methodology for growing your business and your social media following. Join me and my group of supportive entrepreneurs and learn how you can grow your business and your social media following, where we cover topics such as Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, email marketing, and so much more. Go to dmgroup.online, dmgroup.online. That's fantastic. Yeah, I have also published the book, and I'm actually working on a second edition, which kind of brings me to my next point. Is in the 19 months that it took you to write the book, did a lot of things change on Facebook?
Oh my goodness. So like when you agree to do a book on something like Facebook, right? Like, you know, from the start, what we started with is not going to be what we end up with. We actually had to change screenshots 3 times. You know, things did change a lot. So with knowing that going in, our intention was is that we know that certain parts of the book will become quote unquote outdated, right? But we filled the book with as much strategy and fundamentals as possible. So, I mean, obviously you know, I love sports. The other thing I didn't really tell people is that I'm a high school basketball coach. I've been doing that for years now. So I love fundamentals. Like I love competition, and I know the way to win is to focus on things that are timeless. So the book is filled with marketing wisdom and fundamentals. Even if the screenshots go out of date and things like that, the application of the fundamentals that we teach in the book will never be out of date. You'll be able to pick up this book in 2030 and 2040 and still find as much relevant content in there as you do today.
If Facebook is still around in 2040.
Who knows, right? I mean, who even fathomed Facebook? Facebook wasn't even on anybody's radar 10 years ago. There's so many new things coming up. My daughter runs an Etsy business and she's heavy on TikTok and Instagram stories and does amazing there. And there's going to be something that comes along next year that we're unaware of and 5 years from now. But the thing, I've been able to move from technology to technology rather easily because I do understand marketing fundamentals, and that's how you kind of survive as an entrepreneur. Is you learn things and you apply them to new technologies and new things that come down the road. But I can pick up a book from 1966 called Breakthrough Advertising. Eugene Schwartz wrote it. I quoted it in my book. It's still relevant today, and I think that's really critical if you're thinking about writing a book, or you're a thought leader or a knowledge leader. Teach people things that have lasting value. It doesn't really interest me to do something that may only be good for 6 months. What's the point, right? Invest in things that have a little bit more longevity to them, and that's one of the secrets, I think, to my career is studying fundamentals and then being relevant and using those fundamentals with current technologies and current strategies.
Absolutely. So one of the questions I always like to ask our guests is, our audiences are typically entrepreneurs, small business owners, or ones looking to maybe start a business. And tell us about something that they can go back into their business and do right now based on your area of expertise, which obviously is video. So what is something they can do today or tomorrow that really will, make a difference in their business?
Yeah, and I could talk hours on this. I just got off the phone with a client. Just met her. She runs an e-commerce business. Been around since 2004. Caters to kind of middle-aged women. It's a fun kind of cosmetic brand, and she kind of had some stalled, we'll call it stalled performance in her advertising. And so I kind of took a step back and we kind of looked at, your Facebook account is doing this and that. But one of the things I noticed was that the personality she used to build the business initially was kind of missing in the last year. And a lot of things, of course, over the last year, people just kind of like, their lives change. But, I said, hey, you've got a great personality. And I noticed that in your social post and things like that, you really got away from what you did to build the business. And, she kind of shook her head and she says, yeah, you're right. She's like, I've gotten busy, obviously as the company has grown, I haven't been able to put my time into it. But one of the things that I have found with any brand is when you work to put personalization towards it, and even if you're a big brand, to have a personality behind that brand, it really connects better with your customers and prospects. So, obviously with video, what we tend to do is we want to get the person behind the business. We want to find out the story. One of the kind of best stories I've heard is we work with a gentleman who started a chain of yoga studios, and he really kind of, it's kind of a matter of fact person, but in a kind of a time of reflection, we got him on camera to basically tell the story of his mom. And the reason he started with yoga was that his mom had back problems, had surgery. The surgery was botched. And he said, I don't want anyone else's mom or loved one to go through this. And I knew yoga would have been a better solution for her than surgery. And so he got into yoga and then was a great business person and started these chains of studios. And, the whole reason he got into yoga was to basically save people like his mom from having, a lifestyle altered. And that's really powerful. And we put that on film, and it really resonated with people who believe in yoga as as a lifestyle, as a practice. It really endeared new teachers to come to his studios. So, being vulnerable, being willing to share your story connects you to your audience, and you're going to draw those people in, and it makes you stand out from other businesses. So even for some people, I know it's uncomfortable to do that, but the more you can inject your personality of you, your staff, your customers, put personality in your business, and it just makes it stand out. That's what I would encourage people to do.
Sure. So just tell your story, right? Be vulnerable. I know that it's hard, especially on camera, especially if
Right?
you never had experience with it. I had that experience too with clients that we work with, right? I mean, video obviously is big right now in social
Yeah.
media, and trying to get them sometimes on camera, it's like my thing is always like, it's going to take you some time to be comfortable with the camera.
Yeah.
So go do 50 videos, and then on the 51st one, you'll probably feel better.
That's exactly what we tell people. Like we say, go do a bunch of videos and hit delete.
Yep.
Like no one needs to ever see those, but it's just really important. If you look at the way you engage with the world, you engage through this device that you carry around in your purse, in your pocket, and what you do is you watch video. I mean, you don't do as much reading on your phone as you do on your laptop. You just don't,
Right.
because the device is built for video and video streaming, and that's what the world is. So if we're going to be a relevant brand here in 2021 and beyond, we need to embrace video.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have all of my videos from when I first started. They're all on YouTube. So if
Yeah.
anybody ever wants to go all the way to the beginning of my YouTube channel, I have my
Let's see how
very
bad
first
Gene was
video.
on
Oh my
camera a
God,
few
I was
years ago,
terrible.
right?
I was terrible. I didn't have the equipment for video or my phone, so I literally took a pint glass, put it on the table, put my phone inside the pint glass, and that was my tripod.
There you
That was
go. I bet if we turn anybody's Zoom around these days, it'd be like you'd find the most interesting things, wouldn't you? Like the way they're propping up their cameras and things like that.
Yeah. So that's my little story about how I got started with video, and I sucked in the beginning, but that's normal. Everybody
Yeah.
does.
And here you are.
Yeah, that was almost 5 years ago that I started doing video. So
Okay.
it's crazy. But you learn, you get better, and
Yeah.
then you get comfortable. So
Yeah. It's like with anything. It's just practice and repetition. It
yeah,
becomes part of your life.
yeah. So, last question I always like to ask our guests is, tell us your prediction for the future. And that could be specifically your industry. It could be self-driving cars or terraforming Mars or anything that Elon Musk is doing. I mean, anything that you can think of that would be, what's top of mind for you?
I think with a lot of the disruption that's happening, and we didn't get into this, and I talk a lot about it with clients, is this whole iOS 14 and privacy thing that's going on. It's going to affect the way people advertise. I think it's going to create a shift in terms of the way people go about advertising. There's going to be people that kind of say, I'm done with it, and kind of move on to other platforms. So I think number one, Facebook is going to change as an advertising media, and there's going to be opportunities to take advantage of kind of people shifting their money away. But I also believe it's going to spawn alternatives, and I think Snapchat and TikTok, and there's probably some others coming down the road, like Clubhouse and things like that. There's going to be some alternate platforms that we're going to be able to move money towards, that are going to be able to bring in clients and new business for us. So not just focus in on Google and Facebook anymore. I think we're going to see more alternative sources that are going to be really rich, and kind of, I'll call them Wild West opportunities for you to put money in, just kind of like Facebook was back in 2012 and 2013. So I think there's going to be a disruption this year. I think it's already happening. But I think that disruption is going to be good for us as advertisers, and that new opportunity is going to produce some really interesting alternatives for us.
I love that. I hope that's the case, because I definitely would want something new.
Yes.
Google has been around for a long time. Facebook has been around for a long time. They've become very large machines, and I want something new. We've started doing some advertising on TikTok for a client. So
Yeah.
that's the new platform that we're now using. TikTok is set up kind of like a very, very light Facebook, but it does not nearly have the good targeting that Facebook has.
Right. And that's, I think that's the thing that's going to improve. And that's the same thing with Snapchat and some of these other kind of baby sort of platforms who are just getting into the advertising space. That's going to be the biggest hurdle for people is where's all the good targeting like we
Yeah.
have in Facebook? That's going to be the challenge for some of these platforms. But being there first and getting experience is a really good advantage for a company that can figure it out. Obviously, brands that are broad enough to reach a wide audience are going to be more successful than if like, oh, I'm an agency that caters to dentists. Well, you're not going to be able to use TikTok or
Right.
Snapchat very well. But for something that has some a bigger platform and larger reach, especially B2C companies, really good platforms and really exciting opportunities for people this year.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been such a great conversation. Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
I love talking to entrepreneurs and of course digital marketing people. That's like my jam. So
There you go.
really appreciate it. And then the last question is, how can our audiences get in touch with you?
Yeah, I would love people to come over to feedstories.com, FEED stories.com. I've got a bunch of free training, a lot of stuff available for people. I've got a ton of Facebook training there, all for free. We've got some video. We have a video masterclass. We have a content masterclass, all available for free. We want to get people going with video and Facebook. Want them doing it better. So we would love for people to kind of join us there, and we've got a lot of things to share with people. So yeah, if we got some new friends that want to reach out and get to know us and learn a few things, we'd love to meet them. So appreciate
Awesome.
the opportunity, Gene.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.